like you were saying, like guys to think a girl's outside of their league, it's just looks to guys.
I don't understand can you clarify?
What's the difference between a girl being outside of a guy's league than a guy being outside of a girl's league?
Will a guy look at a female? So if a guy sees a woman and she makes more money than him, is she out of his league then? In the same way that like if a man has if a man is financially extremely rich, and he's
That's
out of
what I'm
his
saying.
league?
She probably thinks that he is.
That's what I mean. It's just not
like,
about looks.
But men don't value a woman's earning potential.
Some do.
So okay, cool. Some guys are.
No, I mean like most of them in my area do.
I mean, you also don't want like an unemployed chick either.
Your own thing. The reality is though, if you have a male attorney, here's the difference. A male attorney is going to look at like a 20-year-old barista and be like, wow, she's really attractive, I want to date her, and say that male attorney is like 35. The 35-year-old female attorney is not going to look at a 20-year-old male barista, even if he's really attractive, and be like, I'm going to take this guy seriously long term.
No, because
maybe she'll fuck him, but probably
well, that's what I was getting at. It was like I wanted to know like how do we distinguish the difference? Like, what are the categories for each like boy and girl? Like, what's the difference between being out of a league in one gender besides the other? You know what I mean? Like how you just said. Like,
well,
and I agree with that. Like, yeah, a 35-year-old attorney is not going to see a 20-year-old barista guy and be like, I'm going to fuck. Like, no.
The female version of the attorney.
Yeah, the reverse way.
The male version.
Yeah, the reverse way. That's 100%. That's why I just wanted to like get down to like, what is like the actual like determination between the both.
Well, so when I'm speaking about league as it relates to the like rating 1 to 10 question, it's strictly about looks. Okay. So typically, if we're looking at looks and we're looking at average people, so I was giving an example in a way which men, even despite their looks, can get women outside of their looks league through things like status. Or sometimes it can be personality.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was asking.
Sometimes it can be personality. You have to be pretty charismatic to do it. But ultimately, like, looks is probably the most important thing for everybody, really.
Can I also say, women don't think about this, but we're exactly the opposite. So the less a woman does, the more attractive she is. The more a man does, the more attractive he is. So when you're asking, when you say men want women with more money or more status, it's the exact opposite. The less status you have, the less known you are, the less followers you have, the less promiscuous friends you have, the less partners you have. Everything that you have less than, they're going to value that more. Whereas with men, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Some men, though.
Well, obviously, there's
we're talking
6 fingers on some fingers.
I also
people,
feel like those aren't the only like valued things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those aren't like an important thing. Like, all the things you just listed aren't really like the top things to look for. Like, I feel like
from a man's perspective,
yeah, like I want to know, is it like an independent woman is less attractive, like to where like I don't need you, I don't need the things that you're offering. I would like them, I would appreciate them, but I don't need them. Like
a man wants to feel like
I feel like a man sometimes wants to feel needed.
It's emasculating, if not.
So everything comes with a cost. So if you say a woman is she has a good career or she's an independent boss woman, that looks good externally, but you have to. It's all a projection of what's internal. So the way she acts, the way she projects, the way she thinks. When you're independent, you usually have more masculine traits. So you're more assertive, more dominant, you take bigger risks. These are all masculine traits.
Yeah.
So even though you can look at that and say, oh, there's no problem with making more money, we're not judging the external, we're judging the internal.
Well, not even more money, just like being like financially like stable. Like they do. I feel like a lot of the times like men want or are attracted to women who need them. Like they want it, like men want to feel needed. They want to feel like.
Is it attractive to you if a guy wants to take care of you?
No, I love that.
Okay.
But I'm also independent and I don't need it. I would like it. But I also don't expect something from a man that I can't do for myself.
That's exactly why marriages are falling apart, though. You don't need each other. But there's this, it's a thing called the law of contingency. We're all contingent upon something else. So there's a starting point, which is, if you want to say God, but everything is contingent upon others. So for you guys to survive, for myself to survive, we need water that was filtered by someone else. And then that water had to exist from someone else. Your marriage should depend on both of you needing each other as well. Your kid needs you. Your family needs you. You need your partner to be a good leader. It's the law of contingency where you're all contingent upon another. So you should want to need each other because you can't survive on your own.
This is something Bella and I were talking about, is that equality doesn't mean the same, and like reliance on another person isn't a weakness. And
But that would you say you're like more of a 50-50 or like, like 40-60 type of person in a relationship?
What was the question?
Like a 50-50.
Are you asking
or
should it be
60-40?
50-50 or?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it depends. Well, it always depends, because with you say with marriage, you don't have a goal, right? So with someone that doesn't have a goal, you can't really tell them much because it's just whatever it feels good. If you have a goal, if you want to get married, if you want to have a good relationship, if you want to raise kids and raise a better generation than the one you guys are being raised in, then you probably want to have a specific set of standards where my man is the leader and I follow his lead and we're not 50-50. Because once again, the law of contingency means you're going to be contingent on him, but he's also going to be contingent on you to make sure that you play out your part.
Yeah.
So the less you guys can be equal to each other in the sense of how you guys are and operate, the better it's going to be.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And like you were saying, you probably want a man who wants to protect, who wants to provide for you, in the same sense that he's going to want a woman who is nurturing, who is going to, right? So there has to be like a balance. There's
Like checks and balance, kind of like.
exactly. Like I think many women in our generation or today in this day and age expect a lot, and like we say we deserve all these things, but what can we, not in the sense bring to the table, but like you said, like what you want to provide or you want to protect her. So that's
also-
value.
you can also like reflect internally, and I think that's why I think working on yourself and like becoming the person you want. This is gonna sound jumbled, but working on becoming the person that the kind of person you would want to be with.
Right.
If that
I
makes
value
sense.
my independence a lot as well. So like I find that very hard to balance.